For a long time, I thought personal finance for me was all about restrictions, about saying no, about spreadsheets, rules, and guilt. And then I read this book, I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. This book changed the way that I think about personal finance. And I started to learn more about it and the way this book was written and the way that the author approaches the subject. In all honesty, it changed my life, and this is why I think it would be a good idea for me to do a video about this book in particular, because it's not just about investing, it's about freedom, it's about creating a life where money supports the things that matter to you, which I found to be quite interesting. So the author in this particular book does not really tell you to skip things like coffee to make you feel guilty about your spending, but he talks about building a system, and that system has to be automated so that the system can be doing what a system is supposed to do as you focus on reading. And he does that by presenting this book in what looks like a 6 weeks program, which focuses more on the mindset change as compared to specific things to help you move from guilt to growth, from confusion to confidence, which I found useful. There are a few things that I got from this book, and in this particular video, I'm just going to share those. And the first one is about automating your money. The author calls automating your money machine. So when your bills, your savings, and your investments are automatic, he argues that you stop reacting and you start moving with intention, which I do agree, because it's like giving yourself the permission to stop worrying and about your expenses and to focus on living. Who doesn't want that? And the second thing is to focus on the big wins. So it's not the little things that make you rich, he argues. It's the big moves, and the big moves can take the form of negotiating your salary, paying off a high interest debt, or investing early. And the author argues that these are the choices that actually make your life better. They bring the changes and not necessarily the small changes. And the third thing the author also talks about in this book is for you to spend guilt-free on what you love. And this is really something that I love about the book, because it's okay to spend on things that bring you joy. And that's the argument that the author brings. So you can spend your money on travel, on books, or your time, as long as the things that you're spending your money on are things that are the things that you love, and you cut on the other things that don't really bring you meaning or fulfillment. The fourth thing is to start investing, even if you're scared. And the way the author writes this particular book, he makes investing sounds simple and very accessible, that it removes the element of fear from you. And you don't have to be an expert, he argues. You just need to start, and you start to learn as much as you can. And the earlier you begin your investment journey, he argues, is the more money you'll be able to accumulate, which is something that is similar to other investments book as well, the arguments they make. And finally, you have to be able to define what a rich life looks like for you. And I think this is one thing that I found to be interesting, because the way a rich life looks for me is going to be the way your rich life is going to be different. And that is something that is very interesting. And my rich life can be traveling once a year. It can be because I want to live debt free. It can be the freedom to be able to say no to things that don't align with my values, which is something that I found to be quite interesting. So the book is not really teaching you about how to make more money, but how to live a meaningful life with the resources and the money that you have, which is essentially what I find interesting about this book. What is also interesting is basically the author himself, Ramit. The way he approaches it, he's funny, he's direct, and he's not afraid to challenge you. And he will call you out on your excuses, but he'll also challenge you to be able to do and take things to the next level. There is a kind of tough love in his voice, and that is grounded in compassion, which the balance for me works quite well. And most importantly, he doesn't want you to be perfect. He just wants you to be able to take action, which is quite important, because let's be honest, nobody is perfect. Most financial advice, at least the books that I've read, they are talking about ways that you have to cut back. But for him, he's talking about expanding your awareness, expanding your freedom, and also expanding your possibilities, which is a different take when it comes to the subject of personal finance. So if you want to take one thing from I Will Teach You to Be Rich, at least the thing that I got myself, is that money is not the goal. In his approach, money is a tool. And this is a tool that is to help you to live a life that feels meaningful, a life that is balanced and rich in every sense of the word. And maybe, at least from this argument, being rich isn't about having more money. Maybe it's about living with more purpose, living a life that makes you happy. Maybe that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I would like to hear your thoughts. For those of you that have read this book or are thinking about this book, what is it exactly that stood out for you when you're reading this book? See you in my next video.